Some houses become famous for their architecture. Others become infamous for what happened behind closed doors. From unsolved murders and cult killings to crimes so shocking they still haunt the public imagination, these next homes carry stories that refuse to fade with time. Their walls have been renovated, their addresses changed, and some no longer even exist. But the dark history attached to them remains impossible to erase. The Los Feliz Mansion. The Los Feliz murder mansion has mostly sat empty since cardiologist Harold Perelson, 50, beat his wife, Lillian Perelson, 42, to death with a ball-peen hammer, attempted to murder his 18-year-old daughter, and then took his own life in the Los Angeles residence on Dr. 6, 1959. A year later, a couple purchased the home at probate. Neighbors said it mostly sat empty for years. In 2016, it was purchased by tech investor Braden Pollock and his wife, TV legal analyst Lisa Bloom. They had planned to renovate the home and stripped it down to the studs, but they ran into some issues with the slope of the property and local ordinances, so they put it up for sale instead, according to the New York Post. The home was last sold in December 2020 for $235 million, after 7 months on the market and a $1.15 million price cut, according to Realtor.com data. It was listed again in July 2022 for $5.5 million. But 5 months later, the listing was removed. Lizzie Borden's Massachusetts home. To this day, it's a mystery who bludgeoned Lizzie Borden's father and stepmother to death on August 4, 1892, in their Fall River, MA, home. Lizzie was charged in the killings of Andrew Borden, 66, and Abby Borden, 64. While she was eventually acquitted of the crimes, many still believe she killed her family with a hatchet. Since 1996, the home has been used as a bed and breakfast. The historic Lizzie Borden house now has 6 rooms. Visitors who don't want to spend the night can book tours or virtual experiences. Sharon Tate's Beverly Hills rental. The Beverly Hills, CA, cottage was the scene of a horrific killing spree in the early morning of August 9, 1969. Charles Manson's followers killed pregnant actress Sharon Tate, 26, and her friend's hairstylist Jay Sebring, 35, Wojtek Frykowski, 32, Folger's heir Abigail Folger, 25, and Stephen Parent, 18. The word pig was etched on the front door using Tate's blood. Rudy Altobelli, the owner of 150 Cielo Drive, sued Tate's husband, director Roman Polanski, and Life magazine, alleging that the published pictures of the crime scene damaged the home's resale value. Altobelli also filed a $480,000 lawsuit against Tate's estate for the damages to the property and his own emotional and mental distress. Nine Inch Nails lead singer Trent Reznor reportedly rented out the home for $11,000 a month in 1992, according to House Beautiful. In 1994, the home was torn down and an 18,000 square foot house was put up with a new address. The Charles Manson Murder House. One of the most infamous homes on this list is the one where Charles Manson's followers slaughtered Leno LaBianca, 44, and Rosemary LaBianca, 39, on August 10, 1969. They famously wrote the misspelled Helter Skelter in blood on the victim's refrigerator. Rosemary was stabbed 41 times, while her husband received a dozen stab wounds. Manson's followers killed Sharon Tate and 4 others the night before the LaBianca's murder. Ghost Adventures. Host Zach Boggins, a paranormal investigator, bought the home for $189 million in 2019. He had planned to feature the house in a film production, but decided against it out of respect for the LaBiancas. Baggins listed the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home for $2.2 million in October 2020. It was sold for $175,000 in June 2021. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's childhood home, the Springfield, MO. House where Gypsy Rose Blanchard's boyfriend killed her mother, Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard, 48, is now owned by a mother and daughter, according to TMZ. Gypsy Rose was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Her mother had sought attention and sympathy by pretending Gypsy Rose was sick and making her undergo medical treatments she didn't need. Gypsy Rose's boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, stabbed Dee Dee to death on June 9, 2015. The Blanchards' 1,080-square-foot home was sold for $97,090 in August 2021. It had been built by Habit for Humanity. The address and color of the home were changed to make it less recognizable. Originally, it was pink. Gypsy Rose was released from prison on Dec 28, 2023, after serving 7 years. The In Cold Blood home in Kansas. The Clutters were a well-respected family in the small town of Holcomb, KS, who were awakened on November 15, 1959, and murdered by Dick Hickok and Perry Smith. The ex-convicts were looking for a safe that didn't exist. Hickok and Smith killed Herb Clutter, 48, and his wife Bonnie Clutter, 45, and their children Nancy Clutter, 16, and Kenyon Clutter, 15, with a shotgun. The 2 elder Clutter daughters, they weren't living in the family home at the time of the murders, sold the family's 2-story farmhouse, an example of modern architecture at the time, to a couple. A year later, the home was sold to cattle rancher Bob Bird. After the rancher died, his relatives sold it to Leonard and Donna Mater in 1990. Leonard had farmed the land for the rancher. The Maters raised their family there. The couple's children inherited the property after Donna died in 2018.